whenever they are united, because here the membranes are overlapping, so only two free surfaces are available, and hence it to some extent decreases. The sedimentation coefficient to some extent decreases. Any
Sir,
doubt,
can you
anyone?
sir can you please explain this again?
Look, how many surfaces are here? Wait. How many surfaces are here? Two. How many surfaces are here to add? Two. 2 plus 2, 4. So as the force applied in fourth surface will be more, so the value increases. But here, as two surfaces are found to overlap each other, when two units are joined together, then we are getting two surfaces only. So two surfaces, obviously force will be less in comparison to the fourth surface, and that's why coefficient decreases by 10. Are you getting me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now I am coming to the next one. So ribosomes help in protein synthesis. It's a site for protein synthesis. You know it. Just simply I am telling you how. What happens during protein synthesis? I am telling you. Suppose this is the smaller subunit. You know, mRNA is required for protein synthesis. Suppose this is the mRNA. It has some nitrogenous bases like this. Then tRNA comes and joins, and it carries one amino acid. This is the amino acid. Then the larger subunit comes. After that, another tRNA will come with another amino acid. Then peptide bond is formed between two amino acids, and eventually a protein, the simplest protein is formed. In this way, ribosomes act as a site for protein synthesis. This is a site where protein synthesis occurs. In this way, protein takes place, then this ribosome starts moving along the length of mRNA, and new tRNAs are coming with new amino acids. In this way, length of protein increases. You will get it in class 12. Simply I am telling you that why it is said ribosomes are the site for protein synthesis. The reason is here. Because here protein is synthesized. How? In this way. Now we are proceeding to the other things present. In the bacterial cell, next you will get some, after ribosome, you will get inclusion bodies. And these inclusion bodies are nothing but non-living matters. A number of non-living matters are found in the bacterial cell. So this is the next important thing. So these are the inclusion bodies. And inclusion bodies may be of following type. First of all, gas vacuole. In some cyanobacteria and also in some bacteria, you will get gas vacuole inside the cell. The role of gas vacuole is to provide buoyancy to the bacteria or cyanobacteria so that it can float freely. It is most important thing. Suppose it is a gas vacuole. Interesting thing is It is impermeable to water, but it is means the membrane of gas vehicle. It is means membrane of is impermeable to water, but it is atmospheric gases. This is the most important thing. So that it can maintain buoyancy. Most important thing. Then you will get some inorganic inclusions. Then you will get food reserve. So these are also found in the bacterial cell. If the bacterium is a photo autotrophic bacterium, then chromatophore is found. Chromatophore possesses bacteriochrophene. The green bacteria, green purple bacteria, are the examples where we will get the bacteriochrophene. So this is what about the different substances found in the bacterial cell. Next most important one is the flagella. Flagella, you know, another one is that, one is flagella, second one you will get is the fimri. So in flagella, in prokaryotic flagella, prokaryotic flagella is made of flagellin protein. It is made of flagellin protein, whereas eukaryotic flagella are made of tubulin protein. So you need to remember this difference. Prokaryotic flagella are made of flagellin protein and eukaryotic flagella are made of tubulin protein. Now what about the flagella? Prokaryotic flagella. Socratic flagella type atricus means without flagella. Monotrichus Lophotrichus Now try to understand first. Whenever it is atricus, it means without flagella. No flagella is there. Whereas monotrichus means having single flagellum. Lophotrichus, tufts of flagella at one end. Amphitrichus, flagella found at both ends. Maybe tuft, maybe single. Peritrichus, flagella found all over the body, distributed all over the surface. So, other scientists who get a new thing. What did he get? Thiemann. The scientist is called Thiemann. What Thiemann proposed? According to Thiemann, he gave some different terminology. Atricus, monotrichus remain same, but for amphitrichus, suppose here actually in case of amphitrichus it is empty, and again it is also empty. But according to amphitrichus, Thiemann, amphitrichus should be like these only. One flagellum at one end. Second, he proposed another term, cephalotrichus. He proposed another term, cephalotrichus. It is said like this. While it is discussed here, Lophotrichus. And then when he said Lophotrichus, It appears like this. So this is about the cement proposal. This is a normal conventional proposal. Cement proposed in amphitheaters, one flagella should be present at one pole. In cephalotrichas, a tarsal flagella to be present at one pole, and in lophotrichas, tarsal flagella found to be present at both the poles. So this is what about the Siemens proposal. Now, regarding the structure of flagella first. Prokaryotic flagella consists of three parts: basal body, hook, and filament. Basal body is found to be embedded in the cell membrane. So if it is a basal body, so this is the basal body. You can call it the hook, and this is the filament. You see, if you go to the structure of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, the number of rings present in both basal body, in the basal body varies. Generally, in case of gram-negative bacteria, contains 4 rings. In case of gram-negative bacteria, there are 4 rings. Or 2 pairs of rings. But in case of gram-positive bacteria, there are 2 rings only. Actually, the rings are in case of gram-negative L ring, then you will get the P ring, then you will get the S ring, then you will get the M ring. That is, it will be like this. So the other rings L, P, S, M. L rings means lipopolysaccharide. Basically, I think you can remember the structure of gram-negative bacteria. Here outside the peptidoglycan layer, there you will get a lipopolysaccharide layer. And one ring is found to be present in the lipopolysaccharide layer. I think you can remember. I am showing you again. This is the cell membrane. Then you will get the peptidoglycan layer. Then you will get the lipopolysaccharide layer. So this is the cell membrane. This is the peptidoglycan, and this is called lipopolysaccharide. So, in gram-negative bacteria, I think you can remember these are cell membrane and cell wall is bilayer. You will get a thin peptidoglycan, and also outside the peptidoglycan you will get a lipopolysaccharide layer. So what about these rings? L ring is found to be present in the lipopolysaccharide layer. P ring is found to be present in the peptidoglycan layer. S ring found to be present in the what? Found to be attached to the cell membrane. And M ring found to be embedded within the what is called cell membrane. So this is what about the number of rings present in different layers. In case of gram negative, gram positive, you will get only S and M ring only. In gram positive bacteria, in case of one pair of rings are found. These are S and M rings. Only one pair of rings found, and these are S and M rings. So this is what about the bacterial flagella. Now you write, you have to, I am giving you one simple home task. First of all, write down, classify bacteria based on, already given, classify bacteria based on the arrangement of flagella. Write it down please. Classify bacteria based on the arrangement of flagella and give example of each type. I am not giving example here. Just for instance, I am giving you suppose one example I am giving, so Atricus, Lactobacillus. Now I am not giving further. So you have to find it out. The names of first one. Secondly, next question, how is eukaryotic flagella found different from prokaryotic flagella? How is eukaryotic flagella found different from prokaryotic flagella? How are eukaryotic flagella, are found different from, how are found different from prokaryotic flagella? And how, next question, how do flagella act in bacterial cells? How do flagella act in bacterial cells? These are not sufficient. Therefore, I will be giving you questions within 2 days, 2-3 days. Now, after that, the other one is left, which is fimbriae. Fimbriae are very tiny structures. Fimbriae are very tiny. If you have to compare Fimri with that of Pili, Pili are found to be 1 to 4 in number, I already discussed. They are long tubular structure. But what about the Fimri? They are tiny, crystal-like, numerous in number, and help in attachment. Help in attachment. Common example you will get in the Neisseria gonorrhoeae. Neisseria gonorrhoeae. NEI double SERIA, NEI double SERIA, Neisseria gonorrhoeae, GONO double R, GONO double R HUEA, GONO double R HOEAE, HO GONO double R HOAE, HUEAE. Neisseria gonorrhoeae responsible for gonorrhea disease. Here you will get the Fimri. So how are Fimri different from Pili? First of all, Fimri are numerous in number and Pili are 1 to 4 in number. Fimri are numerous in number, Pili are found to be 1 to 4 in. Fimri are Pili are tubular structure, they are bristle-like structure. They are to some extent long, they are tiny, short. They have really help in the formation of conjugating tube, also attachment. It has only in attachment. Clear? So this is the difference between Fimri and Pili. So this is the structure of bacterial cell complete. Yes, tell me.
Sir, can you repeat the difference? Sir, difference of
Okay.
Fimri and
Okay. First point. Fimri are short structure, tiny short structure. Next, Pili are comparatively longer structure. They are long structure. Fimri are bristle-like. Pili are tubular. Pili has in bacterial conjugation. Fimri doesn't help in bacterial conjugation. Rather, it helps in attachment. So this is what about the generally remember this thing. Fimri are found both gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria generally, but Pili are generally found in the gram-negative bacteria. So these are the second point. So we have to complete these now. Now we have to proceed towards the bacterial reproduction. Write it down, complete it. So we have to start with bacterial reproduction. So the point. The asexual type. Sexual type. Transduction. So, in the asexual type, you will get the binary fission, the gonidia may be formed, and also conidia may be formed. So, these are basic things. So, main two things are actually binary and endospore formation. Although according to some scientists, it should not be considered as a type of reproduction, and it is said endospores are found in bacteria to overcome unfavorable conditions. But you know, so we have to discuss the binary fission first. What happens in binary? So is a bacterial cell. Gradually, groove is developed in the center, nucleate elongated, so cell content of the mother cell, the cell content of the mother cell is found to be distributed in the daughter cell. Cell content of the mother cell is found to be distributed in daughter cell in this case. That's why sometimes the term immortal is come. Because it is found to be living in these two. Because this content is found to be distributed in these two. And this is called binary fission, and hence it is said that the organism, those who are reproducing by binary fission, what happens in this case is cellular content. The cellular content of this bacterial cell is found to be distributed in the daughter cell. So if it is distributed in the daughter cell, how we can say it can die? So in this sense, we can say bacterial cell is immortal because its content is already carried here. What happens? A groove is developed, then the nucleus divides, two DNAs are formed, and then grooves gradually mass more strip at the closer, and eventually two cells are formed. So this is what called binary fission. And in binary fission, actually the cell content is distributed. But other most important thing you need to remember that here the distribution should not be equal always. It is not possible. Because it's a kind of cell division, and cell division it is not following sequential stages. As it is not following sequential stages, so you cannot say that two cells formed from the mother cell are equally same. No, they may be slightly smaller or bigger from each other. Slight difference should be there because sequential steps are not followed. So today I am to stop here after binary fission. Next day I am to discuss the whole sexual reproduction and complete the bacteria part, and to start with the next one or the next kingdom basically. Or so I think today or day after tomorrow I am to complete this. Thank you very much. And you need to prepare yourself, and if you have any problem you can write directly to my WhatsApp. Whatever the problem, I will try my best to solve your problem. Thank you. Thanks a lot.